Most schools have one or two problem students. At Stanton Wood, it's nothing but. Operated by the title character, Steve, into whom lead actor Cillian Murphy channels all sorts of irreconcilable conflict, this is the reform school of last resort. It's the place very disturbed young men, as novelist Max Porter described them, are sent at great expense to the English taxpayers in the hope that the embattled institution's small but dedicated staff of teachers and therapists can help the lads to manage their aggression and make something of themselves. In theory, a film this strong should have premiered at Venice or Telluride, where it might have been noticed. Instead, Steve bows in the Toronto Film Festival's platform competition, where it's apt to be overlooked amid more than 200 other movies, which could happen on Netflix, too. Instead of letting that happen, it must be said, a profoundly moving and superbly acted diamond in the rough, Steve is better than anything the streamer has pushed for Best Picture to date. Netflix famously uses the fall festivals to launch their awards contenders, but the company is playing this one close to the vest, putting it in theaters on September 19th, then releasing to the service on October 3rd. On the day in question, Steve has invited a documentary film crew inside the controversial institution. It's expensive, and these underpaid heroes are practically the only ones who haven't given up on the agro-adolescents in their care. There's a sense of dread from the get-go, but these outsiders' video cameras lend another level of verisimilitude to a ragged, resolutely unsentimental depiction of a dozen or so teens who could, it's clear, rip one another to shreds. That dramatic tension underlies all 92 minutes of Milant's empathetic portrait, which is part inspirational teacher movie, part unflinching look at how bad it gets, in the tradition of such landmark British films as Alan Clarke's Scum and Lindsay Anderson's If. Sure enough, if you've ever dealt with such kids, then you know they're capable of turning violent on a dime, and it can be terrifying, since they don't seem to know their own strength. Steve's team is constantly de-escalating such conflict. At Stanton Wood, their responsibility is not only to keep the students from harming each other, but also to keep them from harming themselves. Porter's book opens with Shy carrying a rucksack full of stones. In the film, Shy is played by Jay Lycurgo, an alternately sensitive and intimidating young actor in his breakout role, and the bag doesn't appear until midway through, when the film crew goes snooping without permission in the students' room. This could be a scene out of a found-footage horror movie, as the camera scans Shy's room, revealing just how troubled his mind must be. Somehow, Steve has missed the signs, which Jenny's been trying to tell him for weeks. Milans assembles the elements into an intricate postmodern, but still mostly linear, collage, elevating what might have otherwise felt slightly stagey, what with a single location and all, by mixing the various characters' too blue for TV testimonials with artfully observed private moments. Cinematographer Robrecht Havert juggles the two formats, SD Betacam and film, as editor Danielle Palmer cuts between obstreperous outbursts for the doc crew's benefit, including a wicked takedown of a visiting MP, Roger Allam, and stolen moments of intimacy seen only by us. Steve represents a reunion of sorts between leading man Murphy, co-star Emily Watson, and Belgian director Tim Milans, who made last year's wrenching Magdalene Laundrie's drama Small Things Like These. For this unrelated, but even more powerful follow-up, Murphy personally encouraged Porter to adapt his novel, Shy, as a screenplay in which he might star. Hence the title change. Where Shy was the subject of Porter's slender book, which is really more of a beat poetry day-in-the-life monologue, the focus shifts here to the weary headmaster who's been fighting on their behalf all these years. It's 1996, and the government has pulled the plug. They've sold the school out from under Steve and his staff, who include psychiatrist Jenny, Watson, and tough love Amanda, Tracy Ullman, who describes her job as part prison guard, part teacher, part mommy, part battle axe.